Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Everybody ready?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Very good. So we'll start with our class. Shall we start with the prayers? We'll all chant together. Om Jnana Timi
Nandasya Jnanam Chayasya Shakti-litamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravinda
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
The verse that we are learning now is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Atapambid Dvija Shrestha. Anybody has learned the verse and would like to recite it? Mukund. Yes, you've raised your hand. Chant.
Yes, Mataji. Atapamrita Sheshta Varnashrama Vibhagasah Swanashtitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhi Haridasanam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Radha.
अतापुम्पेतुजा श्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वनुस्थितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धि हरितोषणम्.
Kabir.
Atapumbrjuja Shrestha Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Sanusitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam.
Excellent. Very good. Satvik, do you want to try? Satvik.
Okay.
Try.
Shrestha Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Sanusitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam.
Excellent. Excellent. Very nice. So, what is the meaning of Dvija Shrestha?
Oh, blessed among the twice born.
So, the word Dvija means what?
Two.
Dvija. Dvi is two. Dvija is?
Twice born?
Correct. Aja, not Aja, but Ja. When you use the root word Ja, it means to be born. Right? Janma. We saw this earlier too. So, Dvija means twice born. So, who are the twice born?
Brahmanas.
Who else are the twice born? Brahmanas. Yes, very good. Anyone else who are born twice? We saw this in our animals and birds Sanskrit class. Which are the species that are born twice?
Animals that are born from eggs.
Very good. So generally birds are born from eggs and sometimes reptiles too, but the generic term for birds is also Dvija because they are born twice. So first they are born out of an egg. First the egg comes out and then the egg hatches and the bird comes out, right? So in many places, birds are called as Dvija. Radha, what did you want to say?
I just want to ask you, what is the activity for today?
No, I didn't. So what are you?
Okay, what was that?
I don't know, Mataji. Anyways, what is activity today?
What is the what?
Activity.
Activity is today is Padmasaki Mataji's class, right? So after Bhagavatam, the drawing and the activity, craft of drawing activity.
Okay.
So anything else is called as Dvija. Remember, I had taught you this. it's in your body. It's one of the, in our body parts class we did it. It's somewhere in your face, the region of the face.
Is it the center of your face?
Yeah. So which one is that?
Nose.
Nose?
How can your nose be born twice? Think about it. Just don't answer.
Brain. Mind.
No.
Soul. Soul.
Huh?
Soul.
Come on, dude. Not the soul.
Mouth.
Eyes?
Huh?
Mouth.
Eyes?
Mouth.
What is
eye.
it?
Teeth.
Yes, you have your milk teeth and then you get your permanent teeth, right? So how many of you have your milk teeth all fallen off?
Mataji, I have 4 that 2 that are gonna fill that are gonna might fall at the same time, and that might fall in winter break, and one of them might fall at the same time in spring break.
Yeah.
2 teeth at the same time.
I've lost 8 teeth.
So most of you,
Mataji, I don't keep track of it anymore, but it's over 8. I know that much.
oh, very good. So all of you are growing up, right? So all your teeth are falling and you're getting new teeth. So because the teeth is born twice, it's Dvija. Right now, there are 3 things that are Dvija. One is the twice born, generally Brahmanas. Actually, even Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are twice born. Generally, when we say Dvija, generally we call it for Brahmanas. And then you have birds and then you have teeth. So in scripture, in Srimad Bhagavatam, when you read, when you come across this word Dvija, you try to see the context and then understand what they're talking about. Okay. So here it says, Pumbihi Dvija Shreshta. Pumbihi is, Pumsa means what? Pumsa, Pumbihi. Pumsa is, you can see the translation.
By the human being.
Human being, yes. So generally people, right? Pumsaha. So many people, I mean, human beings in general are called as Pumbihi. Ata Pumbi Dvija Shreshta. Shreshta means first class. Top class is Shreshta. You have Shreshta means, in Bhagavad Gita, do we have Shreshta coming up somewhere? I remember vaguely. Anyway. Okay. Dvija Shreshta. Varnashrama, you all know what Varnashrama is? Yes, no? Any answers?
The institution of 4 castes and the 4 orders of blood.
Very nice, baby. Very nice. Okay. Vibhagasha is division. Okay. Vibhaga, meaning you split it into sections. One is dharmasya. Anushtana means to follow. Dharmasya is whatever traditional duty or religious principle you have to follow. Siddha means, what is siddhi? Anybody siddhi?
Like a special power that the yogis have.
Yeah, it's a sort of
Magic.
right? So siddhi is a sort of perfection. Because of the perfection in that particular yogic process, they attain a power. So it is a siddhi. Siddhi is perfection. Some siddhi, highest perfection, toshanam. Toshana means to please. Okay. Toshana means to become healthy and nice. Toshana is to tushta, to make one happy. Okay. So toshana is to please. Now let's get a volunteer to read the translation. Now, why don't I ask Balaram the goose to actually read the translation? Come on, goosey boy, read the translation.
Thank you, Mataji. Amongst the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's occupation, and according to caste divisions, in order of his life is to please the personality of God.
Yeah. So the highest perfection that one can achieve is what? What is the answer? Dhrubu. What is the answer? Dhrubu. What is the highest perfection? The highest perfection is to? Dhrubu is not talking. How about Hrishya? Shreya's
What did I do, Mataji?
Tell me, from the translation, what you understood. What is the highest perfection that one can achieve? What is the highest perfection of every human?
Sannyasi.
I read the translation and tell me what does it say?
Mataji, it says that the highest perfection one can achieve by discarding the duty prescribed by his own occupation.
Is to do what? What is the highest perfection? Is to
Being sannyasi.
let's talk to sannyasi. Come on, I want a different answer. I want an answer from the translation.
Doing your prescribed duties.
Okay, I still want the answer. Doing prescribed duties, but and do what? Just doing prescribed duty is highest perfection? Okay, Pranav. Pranav? Yeah, from the translation. Tell me, what is the highest perfection?
To please the personality of Godhead, our Lord Krishna.
Very good. Very good. See, to please the
The
personality.
Supreme Personality Godhead.
Yes, yes, very good. But you all did well. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we are in this chapter where the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, were cursed by the sages. Who were the sages?
The four Kumaras.
Very good, the four Kumaras. So why did the four Kumaras curse Jaya and Vijaya? What happened? You already heard the story. Yes, Mukund,
They
tell
were
me.
So the four Kumaras wanted to see Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha, and Jaya Vijay were the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, but Lord Vishnu had ordered them that no one should come in. So the four Kumaras were like they really wanted to go inside, and because Jaya and Vijay weren't letting them go inside, that's why they cursed Jaya and Vijay.
Very good, very good. So that is what happened in this chapter, right? So that's how the Jaya and Vijaya, they got cursed. Now, I want to remind everybody how this topic of Jaya Vijaya getting cursed and coming as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu came in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are studying the third canto, correct? So in the third canto majorly focuses on the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Do you remember this vaguely when we started the third canto? There are two personalities. Vidura, who is Vidura?
He is Dhritarashtra's brother,
He's Dhritarashtra's brother. Yeah,
Pandal's brother.
very good. Who is Maitreya?
His guru or his friend?
Okay, Guru and his friend. Our answers. Hey, come on, everybody. Get active. You all know the answers. You're not just telling. Who is Maitreya? Have you heard of this name before?
Mataji. I think he's a sage.
Oh, very good. Yes. Yes, very correct, Radha. Yeah. In one sense, he was like he was a senior, so Mukund said spiritual master, but actually he was a sage. But in Krishna's eyes, Vidura was closer to Krishna, actually. So anyway, so there's this conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Okay. So Vidura and Maitreya, they were talking about what really happened, how Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were born. So to explain that, Maitreya, he tells, once upon a time, when Brahma was talking to the sages, I was also present and I heard the story. Okay. And Maitreya begins to repeat what he had heard from Brahma. The conversation between Brahma and the demigods was heard by Maitreya, and Maitreya was telling the story to Vidura. That's how we find the story in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so that is the context of this entire story of Jai Vijay being cursed. Because Brahma himself was speaking to the demigods. Why did Brahma have to speak to the demigods about the history of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu? The reason is because the demigods, they were getting very, very fearful of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu because they were torturing everybody. They were torturing the human beings, they were torturing the demigods, they were torturing everybody. So the demigods got really worried. They were thinking, oh, Brahma, what is this? You've given so many boons to these people and they're torturing us. Okay, that is when Brahma narrates how Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were born and what mistake they did, what is their real identity. And he begins to tell this chapter that Jaya Vijaya were actually doorkeepers and they got cursed by the Kumaras. And because of the curse, they are born as Jaya and Vijaya. So,
Chapati.
I said I made it in the morning. I will heat it and give you.
He did not add.
Okay, I will make it.
okay, I will also eat what Balram gets today. Okay, what's the menu at home, Balram? Okay. Okay, so this Jaya and Vijaya, they got cursed and they came as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And Brahma was telling the story to the sages. Maitreya was present when Brahma was telling the story. Maitreya heard it. When Vidura asked him questions, Maitreya began to tell the story that he had heard. Okay, everybody clear what the context for the third canto is? Okay, so today what we have to do is we have to cover 2 verses. That is the assignment given by Sita Preeti Mataji. Okay, so what are the 2 verses? I'm going to read. Oh, you guys can actually read the translation. Param, unmute and read text 35. Okay, Param is okay. We'll have Balram, the one who's having some interesting dinner, unmute. Where are you?
Yeah,
Balram.
Mataji.
Okay, come on. Read the translation.
Okay, Lord Brahma continued. Those 2 principles, doorkeepers of the personality of God, had now entered the womb of Diti. And powerful semen of Kashyapa Muni have covered them.
Very good. Trishya, why don't you read text 36?
It is the prowess of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy with my power, however, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this.
Good. So I'll explain what is being told in these 2 verses. Okay. So what did I tell? Brahma is talking to the sages and the demigods. He's talking to all of them, right? So the demigods, they went running to Brahma in the previous chapter and they complained that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are torturing us. So at that time, Brahma began to tell the story of Jaya Vijaya, right? After telling the story about their curse, Brahma said, actually, these 2 principal doorkeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, now they have entered the womb of Diti through Kashyapa and they have taken the body of 2 dangerous demons. Okay, these 2 dangerous demons are now disturbing you. Text 36. They are now disturbing you. But he tells the demigods, you cannot do anything to them. Why? Because they have come here by the desire of the Lord. These 2, they are the associates of the Lord, right? They are Jaya and Vijaya, associates. Vaikuntha men, how can they be killed by demigods? They cannot be killed by demigods. So, if they have to be controlled by someone, who's the only person who can oppose them and control them? Who is it? If they are from Vaikuntha. What's the logical answer? Kabir.
Yes, Mataji?
You want to answer or Kush? You want to answer?
Can you repeat that one more time?
I'll repeat that. Kabir, Kushi, Samskriti, Dhruva, everybody listen. Okay, whoever is there on the call. Sudevi, all of you listen. So my question is, in verse number 36, it says, that these two asuras, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they cannot be attacked by the demigods. Brahma, the demigods, oh demigods, you cannot even stand a battle in front of them. They cannot be controlled by you. There is no remedy within my power. That is Brahma's telling. I cannot tackle them in a war. You demigods can also not face them in a war. But there is only one person who can control them. Who's that one person?
Lord Vishnu.
Krishna.
Why? Why do you think it is?
Because they're the servants of the Lord.
Exactly.
And
That's
the
what.
Lord can control them because they're the
Yes.
servants of the Lord.
Excellent. That's what he's telling. So he's telling it is by the Lord's desire that Jaya and Vijaya have come. So his men, he is sending to the material world and he's performing some pastime. So if you go and try to interfere, nothing will happen. Because of his desire, these two men have come here. So he only has to come and finish up the pastime. You understand what is happening in this section?
Yes, Mataji.
That is what we are going to churn. We have two verses that Brahma is telling, and we are going to see what we are going to learn from these. Okay, so the connection I already explained to you, right? That Jaya and Vijaya were cursed and they came here as the sons of Diti. And this conversation was between Brahma and it was between the demigods, and then Maitreya and Vidura were talking about it. Okay, that is the connection. Now, the two lessons that we learn from these two verses is, first of all, how did Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu take birth? They took birth as demons because at that point in time, Kashyapa Muni was very upset with his wife, right? His wife, Diti Devi, she approached Kashyapa Muni at the wrong hour. Kashyapa Muni told, no, this is sunset time. If we are together at this time, only demons will be born. She wanted to have a child. And the father said, no, we cannot have a child at this time. Demoniac people will be born. Kashyapa at this point in time, he was also very angry. His mind was disturbed. That's what Prabhupada writes. Because his mind was disturbed and he was upset, he was very upset, he was very angry. Because of that, at that time, two sons were conceived, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. They became demoniac because of the consciousness of the parents. Okay, because of the consciousness of Kashyapa Muni at that point in time. Prabhupada writes in the purport, in this connection, it is to be remembered that the mind of Kashyapa was not in order when he conceived the two sons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, it was simultaneously extremely powerful and mixed with a quality of anger. So the children that Kashyapa and Diti are going to have are very rajasic because there is so much anger and there is so much power. Okay, power mixed with anger. So the children are also going to be very rajasic and very demonic. So all the actions we do is actually ruled by our consciousness in one sense. Like, for example, if you're angry or you're upset about something, when you go and do some activity, your anger will be reflected in the activity that you're doing, right? Supposing you're very angry with mom, okay? Mom tells you that, she tells you she will not make puri for you, okay? And you're very angry with mom and she gives you something very sad like idli. I don't know if there are idli fans here. Okay, so I don't like idli, so let's make it idli. So if Amma gives you idli instead of puri, you're extremely angry. How are you going to eat that idli? You're going to eat that idli with hatred, right? Like this. You'll just get rid of the idli. You want to eat it fast and you want to get rid of it. Why? Is that?
Because it doesn't taste good.
It doesn't taste good and you're so upset. And when you see that idli, you want to throw that idli on somebody, right? That's how. So the mind, what is running in the mind? The hate for idli. How is it being shown? It is shown in our actions, in what we are producing. right? So similarly, our consciousness, it gets reflected in everything we do. The things we speak, the things we do, all of this carries what is there in the mind. So the mind, emotions, and actions are all connected. Now, Kashyapa was very angry, right? What happened? As a result, as a product, the children were also angry. So sometimes let us think about the different activities we do, how it reflects. Oh, yeah. Before we get into the analysis of different activities, this is a crazy picture of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Now, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were born from parents who were not in the right consciousness and who wanted to have children at the wrong time of the day. Can you think of another example of demoniac people who were born like that? Any guesses?
Shishupal.
Shishupal, okay.
Dantavakra.
Shishupal Dantavakra. Okay. It's the same Jai Vijaya, right? Yeah, it is the same. Yeah, okay. Think of one more person. Shishupal Dantavakra, and who was before that?
Ravan.
Ravan Kumbhakarna, right? So these are the siblings. You have Ravana, you have Kumbhakarna, Shurpanaka, and Vibhishan. Okay. So actually, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they were born at the wrong time, similar to Diti and Kashyapa. They had children at the wrong time. So the father of Ravana and Kumbhakarna, his name is Vishrava. He was telling his wife that this is not the right time. His wife's name was Kaikasi, the mother of Ravan. He told her, this is not the right time. And they were very upset. They were not in a happy mood, when they were having children. So the consciousness of the children were such that Ravana and Kumbhakarna were born very demonic. But later they had a child and his name was Vibhishan. Okay. But Vibhishan was very, very righteous. So the consciousness of the parents is reflected when the child is born. That is the point that is being made here. Not only are we talking about parents and children, but we also have other examples. I told you, right? Like eating idli. Eating idli instead of puri. Like that. When we are angry, it shows up in our activities, in our speech. Sometimes, if you're asked to draw something, today we are going to draw something. Today is the drawing class, right? So when you're very angry and irritated, when you have a fight with your mom or dad, and I ask you to draw something very beautiful, you won't draw it beautifully. You'll draw it in a very angry mood and it'll be a big mess. You'll just throw the paper and you'll go away, right? So like art, not going to show up nicely. In the class, you're going to be very grumpy. And if I ask you to sing, you'll be screaming. You won't even sing, right? So whatever is there in the mind, it reflects in our activities. That is why it is said the consciousness of the cook is there in the food. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about it? So they tell you, oh, you should cook with the right
Mataji.
food cooked by mother that is offered to Krishna by a devotee. Don't you hear all these things? Why? Because it is a matter of consciousness. Because that consciousness gets food. And when you eat that food, you also absorb an amount of that mood. Okay. So that's why it is important to have the right consciousness. Otherwise, it reflects in all that we do. Example of Prabhupada writes in the purport of Ajamil Katha that Ajamila ate the food cooked by that lady he was living with. And because that lady was not of good character, Ajamila absorbed some of that and he also started developing a very bad character. Okay, he did all the wrong things just because the consciousness was transported through the food. So why are we talking about all this? Because Kashyapa and Diti, Kashyapa was angry, and because of that, the children born were also very, very rajasic and angry. We saw negative examples. Now I tell you one super positive example. Okay, all of you know this baby. Who is this? Who is this baby who's in the womb?
Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
So you all know very well that Prahlad had heard the glories of Krishna when he was in the womb of Kayadu. Correct? But when Kayadu and Hiranyakashipu wanted to have a child, at that time, you know what happened? Narasimha Purana explains a very interesting story. I tell you that story. So this Hiranyakashipu, he would go from time to time to the forest so that he could perform great austerities and he could get boons from Lord Brahma. That was his intention. Okay. Even before Prahlad was conceived, even before Kayadu got pregnant and had the baby in her womb, even before that, Hiranyakashipu would go to the forest to perform austerities. Okay, one day it so happened that when he was in the forest and he was performing the austerities and he was in meditation, at that time, Narada Muni and Parvata Muni, they are best friends. Okay, Narada Muni's best friend is Parvata Muni. So both of them, they wanted to disturb Hiranyakashipu because they didn't want Hiranyakashipu to get all the boons. So they took the form of two parrots. They sat on the tree and they started chanting the names of Lord Hari. Okay, that is Lord Vishnu. So they started chanting the names of Lord Hari. Now, Hiranyakashipu was in deep meditation, but because he kept hearing the name of his enemy again and again being told, he got very upset. He got very, very upset, and his meditation broke. I don't want to hear the name of my enemy. He was thinking like that, and his meditation broke. So, in that anger, he goes home, and then Kayadu and Hiranyakashipu, he's on a break. Okay, he takes break from his austerities. So he goes home. He's with his family, and they decide to have a child at that time. So that time Kayadu asked, "So what happened to you, my dear husband? Why did you come back? I thought you were going to do austerities and you're going to get boons. Why did you come home?" Then Hiranyakashipu says, actually, I was very disturbed. I was very, very disturbed in the forest. There were two birds and they kept chanting the name of my enemy, Hari. He said, when he said Hari, Prahlad got conceived in the. So when Prahlad was conceived itself, he was hearing Harinam. And later he got the opportunity to continue to hear Harinam from Narada Muni in the womb. See how fortunate Prahlad is. Okay, though Hiranyakashipu at that time was irritated, the holy names, the chanting of Hari completely purified everything. That's why when before babies are born, they tell the mother should hear Vishnu Sahasranam, she should hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra, she should always hear some bhajans, she should hear Harikatha, she should read the Srimad Bhagavatam fully. So all these are being told for this reason, because you can mold the consciousness of the baby in the womb. Isn't that cool? I thought it was interesting. Okay. So this is a positive example. So lesson 1 that we learned is that our consciousness reflects in our speech, our actions, and everything we do. So we have to watch our mind. If our mind is very disturbed, we have to take a step back and think about what we're doing. Okay, and we'll also come up with a solution towards the end of the class, how to train the mind. But let's move on to lesson 2. Now, the second verse that we saw, the first verse was about Kashyapa and Diti having the two Rakshasas, two demons, Suras, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. That was verse 1. From that, we churned out a lesson saying that we should always have the right consciousness because our consciousness affects our activities. Now, the second verse, what did Brahma say? Brahma told the demigods, my dear demigods, neither me nor all of you can actually control these two demons. They are not here because of you, and don't think that you can actually face them in a battle. The only person who can really take full charge of them is the Supreme Lord. Why? It is only because of the desire of the Supreme Lord, Jaya and Vijay have come to this universe. There is a purpose for why they have come here. The reason that they have come here is actually to give pleasure to the Lord. How are they going to give pleasure to the Lord? By fighting with the Lord. So if you go and fight, it is useless. The person who has to fight has to come and do the fight. Only then there is a solution to this problem, right? So from that verse, the lesson that we learn is that if the Lord has ordained something, or if the Lord has desired something, or if he has decided that this has to happen, nobody can change it. So the demigods cannot go and kill Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. The Lord's desire is that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu should come down to the universe and he should enjoy Virya Rasa. Have you heard about this point? That Krishna wanted to fight. In Vaikuntha, he can't fight. So he came down with Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu and he had a good fight with them. This is how our acharyas talk about the purpose of their descent. Okay, so the demigods cannot counteract, they cannot do anything with Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. But, however, the Supreme Lord, he wanted to have a fighting spirit with his devotees, Jaya Vijaya. That is why they came. So, unless the Lord comes and has a good fighting match, we are not going to be destroyed. Right? The Lord himself ordered his gatekeepers to go down to the material world to become his enemies so that he could fight with them, because his fighting desires would be satisfied by the service of his personal devotees. If his personal devotees serve him by fighting with him, then the Lord will be satisfied. So that is the reason, internal reason for their descent. So if the Lord desires something, nobody else can oppose it. I'll tell you one more story of the same principle. Krishna is the ultimate decision maker. We may all have plans, but ultimately the world runs on Krishna's plans. Okay. Look at the story in the 11th canto, the destruction of the Yadus. So who are the Yadus? Samskriti, do you want to tell me who the Yadus are?
The Yadus are like Krishna's family.
Exactly, Krishna's family. So after the Mahabharata war, so many dynasties after dynasties got destroyed. So you all know there was this big fight between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, and so many kings and families, all of them got destroyed, and the burden of the earth was reduced because of that. However, there was a very, very big family that was still remaining on earth. Okay, and this was the family of the Yadus, Krishna's own family. Now, do you think somebody else can come and destroy Krishna's family? Can anybody, any other kingdom come and destroy the people who are Krishna's family? Is it at all possible?
No way.
No way. So the only way the burden of the Yadu dynasty can be reduced is if
because Krishna wanted it to happen.
exactly. So Krishna, just like how Krishna wanted Jaya Vijaya to come and he wanted to fight. It's under his control. Similarly, Krishna wanted the Yadu dynasty to be destroyed. And that was the only way the Yadu dynasty could actually be removed from this earth. So let's take turns. Param, unmute and read text 3 of this 11th canto, chapter 1. Param. Okay. Pranav, you want to read?
From where, Mataji?
Text 3.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead used the Yadu dynasty, which was protected by his own arms, to eliminate the kings who, with their armies, had been the burden of this earth. Then the unfathomable Lord thought to himself, although some may say that the earth's burden is now gone, in my opinion, it is not yet gone, because there still remains the Yadava dynasty itself, whose strength is unbearable for the earth. Thank you.
Thank you. So Krishna was thinking like that. Oh, the Yadava dynasty is still there. So they are unbearable to the earth. So I should devise a method. Now let's see. Ansh, can you unmute, buddy?
Yes.
Okay. Read text 4.
Lord Krishna thought no outside force could ever bring about the defeat of this family. The Yadu dynasty, whose members have always been fully surrendered to me and are unresisting
Restricted.
Unrestricted in their opulence, but if I inspire a quarrel within the dynasty, that quarrel will will act just like a fire created from the friction of a bamboo in a grove. And then I shall achieve my real purpose and return to my eternal abode.
So Krishna thought like that. Krishna thought, let me inspire the fight. Radha, text 5.
Okay, Mataji. My dear King Parikshit, when the Supreme Almighty Lord, whose desire always comes to pass, has thus made up his mind, he withdrew his own family on the pretext of a curse spoken by an assembly of Brahmanas.
So let time come, and then I will withdraw my own family in the pretext of a curse. Actually, there's a story of how the Yadavas are cursed by Brahmanas when one of Krishna's sons goes in the guise of a woman, a pregnant woman, and he asks the gender of the child. So there is another story, but all this ultimately was inspired by the Lord. If the Lord decides, it will happen. Okay. So basically, the point here is that some boy was, who's that? Satvik, right? You were raising your hand. Satvik, can you read what is there in red? Satvik, no?
Okay, Mataji. The reading is given here by the words Matsamasya, the members of the Yadu dynasty. Had fully taken shelter of Krishna, and therefore they were always under the personal protection of the Lord. It is stated, Mer Krishna Rake Krishna Amereke. If Krishna protects someone, no one can kill him. And if Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can save him.
Yeah, so beautiful, right? Mare Krishna Rake Krishna Mareke. That means if Krishna protects someone, no one can kill him. If Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can save him. Now, what happened? Krishna had decided, I want to kill Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Nobody is going to interfere. That's what Brahma was telling. It's Krishna's business. Unless he comes, the problem won't be solved. So again, in the case of the Yadus, what happened? Krishna had decided, I will only inspire a fight and let them fight with each other. Only then they can be killed. Okay. So like that, Krishna is the ultimate controller, and he takes the decision as to how things should happen. I'll tell you one more story, quick story. Okay. The Madhava kids must have heard the story, but this is especially for those who are only attending Govinda classes. So in the 7th canto, after the story of Prahlad is being told, there is another story of Tripura Samhara. Okay, there were 3 demons and they had 3 flying palaces. One was made of gold, one was made of silver, and the other was made of iron. So imagine a golden palace flying in the clouds. So that's how these different palaces were. So they had these flying palaces and they were creating so much havoc, these demons. They were just attacking people and they were troubling everybody. So at that time, the demigods, they went and approached Lord Shiva. They told Lord Shiva that these demons are really troubling us, so please put an end to them. Now, Lord Shiva is also called as Pinakapani. Let me ask you a question. What is the name of Lord Vishnu's bow? Anybody knows? Vishnu has different weapons, right? What is the name of his chakra? Anybody knows?
Sudarshan Chakra.
Sudarshan Chakra.
Very good. What is the name of his Gada? Gada.
Momodaki.
Okay. What is the name of his bow and arrow?
I think it starts from S.
Very good. It starts from S.
Something Sa.
Yes, correct, Ansh. Saranga. Sharanga. Actually, not Saranga. It is Sharanga. Okay, Sharanga. It's called the Sharanga bow. Now, the bow of Lord Shiva is called as Pinaka. Okay, Pinaka Sharanga. Now, Pinaka Pani, that is one of the names of Lord Shiva. So, Lord Shiva picked up his bow and then he went and he tried to shoot down these three palaces, and the palaces apparently got destroyed. But these demons, what happened was, the demons have one savior. His name is Mayadanava. Okay, he is actually the architect of the demons, and also he helps the demons in various ways. So this Mayadanava, he had a nectar well, a well made of nectar. So he brought these demons there and he put those demons in that nectar well and they came back to life. Okay. He did this to somebody else too. He did this to Bali Maharaj also. Before the ninth, when the story of Bali Maharaj begins, it begins with that introduction, that with the help of nectar, the demons were brought to life. In the 8th canto also, you will read the story. So anyway, so these three demons, they came back to life. Now, Lord Shiva was really upset. At that time, Lord Vishnu came and he equipped him. You see this picture on the right-hand side. Lord Shiva was equipped with a golden chariot with horses, with the bow and arrow and other weapons. You see Vishnu sitting on top, right? So Vishnu was directing the entire activity. He gave the full powers to Shiva and he asked Shiva to fight. But before that, Brahma and Vishnu, they took the form of a cow and a calf and they drank up that entire nectar well. So now when Shiva was equipped with all these weapons, he went and he shot down these three demons, their palaces, everything, and nothing could be revived because the nectar well was missing. It was all drunk up by the cow and the calf. Okay, this is how Lord Shiva became Tripura Samhari, the one who conquered the three floating palaces. And this story is called as Tripura Samharam. Okay. But that is not our focus. I want you to read this. Rishya, can you unmute, baby? Yeah. Rishya, read this.
Read what, Mataji?
What is there in Mayadanava's words?
Oh, Mayadanava said, however I planned, you planned, or both of us planned. The Lord has planned what is to happen. No one's plan will be successful without his
sanction.
We may make our own various plans, but unless they are sectioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, they and millions of plans are made by all kinds of living entities, but without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, they are futile.
Very good. So what is Mayadanava saying? You can make a plan, Shubhadra can make a plan, Balram can make a plan, Ansh can make a plan, Pranab can make a plan, I can make a plan, Sita Priti Mataji can make a plan, Padmasaki Mataji can make a plan. For example, today's class was planned by Padmasaki Mataji. But what happened? Krishna's plan, you had to listen from me. So you may make a plan, I may make a plan. We can all have our plans, but without the sanction of Vishnu, no plans will be successful. Everything is ultimately Vishnu or Krishna's plan. Without Krishna's sanction, everything is futile. Everything is useless. Such a beautiful realization, right? Sometimes we plan so much, but none of our plans are successful because Krishna already has a master plan in place. So only what he desires ultimately becomes a success. Okay, I told you I will tell you something about anger, right? About controlling situations, about how from time to time our consciousness gets reflected into our actions, but how can we control it? It's difficult. So let's look at this cycle of anger. Okay, I want you all, of course, Bhagavad Gita has a very beautiful cycle. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsam, that verse is there. But besides that, this is just for an activity for all of you. So generally, how do we get angry? there'll be some event that is triggering the anger, right? Like, for example, you asked for puri, but you got idli. So that idli is the trigger, a trigger for anger. And because there was a trigger in the mind, what happened? You started building negative thoughts. I hate idli. I don't want to see idli. I don't want to touch idli, but I have to stuff it in my mouth. So negative thoughts start entering your head. And then, because negative thoughts are entering into your head, there is an emotional response. When mom is asking you something, you start shouting at her. Why? Because she gave you that idli. Okay, so you start shouting at her. And not only are you emotionally disturbed, but you get physically also upset. You know, when you get angry, Bhagavatam says your entire body gets polluted, meaning that you get angry, your face becomes red and you're throwing things and you're so disturbed. So not only are you emotionally disturbed, you're also physically disturbed. And then because of that physical disturbance and emotional disturbance, what do? You start screaming, you start saying bad things, you start hitting the other person, you do all the wrong things. So this is the cycle of anger. So we are going to unpack this anger. Next time, when you run into such a situation where you have become extremely angry, you sit for a minute and note down what happened. Just write down what happened. You don't have to do any magic. Just write down what happened. Think about what happened just before you felt angry. What was the trigger? Write down the thoughts that came into your mind. What was my mind going through? What all did I feel about that idli? And then your emotions, how you were angry with mother for no reason. The body, how you were screaming, you were saying wrong things to everybody. And then the action, how you were throwing things around. Just start writing all this. And once you write down everything and you look back at this chart, you'll really feel so ashamed. You'll feel so ashamed. And you will think that the trigger was so small, but my reaction was so big. Once you note down everything, you'll think, after all, it was an idli problem. Why did I blow it up? Why did I make it so bad? Okay. So that itself, when you start writing down what had happened and you compare what was the trigger and what a mess I made, that will help you correct yourself in future. Okay. I'll send the screenshot in the group. If you all can follow this, it'll be very nice. It's a practical application for your life. Okay, so that next time we'll think, oh, it's such a small problem. I should not blow it up. I should behave myself. Okay. Now, this is the activity for the day. Padmasakhi Mataji always has drawing activities for you, right? So today I will send you one screenshot with the cycle of anger and a chart to write down what we have to do. You can write that and maintain it for your own records. You don't have to show everyone. Okay, just keep it for yourself. I won't look at it. I won't embarrass you. But your activity for the day is a drawing activity that you have to do. Okay. So sometimes you want a very smooth plan. You plan, I have to go to Orlando. I should go to Disney World. I should go on this ride, that ride, and you make a list. That is your plan. But what did we learn from Maya Danava? You will have your plan. I will have my plan. She will have her plan. But ultimately, it's only God's plan, right? That's what we learned from his words. God also has a plan. But God's plan may not be easy. Look at this path, so hard. There are rocks, then there is a ladder, then there is water. He has to go in a boat. It's such a rocky road, and then there are huge bumps, and it rains, and there are so many obstacles in God's plan. This is how our lives are mostly. Our life is never what we think.
Mataji, for your example, why did you actually use Florida?
I was thinking,
like we have to go to Orlando, this ride, that ride, we'll go to Disney World. Like, why did you use that example?
Who's the one who's talking now?
This is Ansh Mataji.
I was thinking of Ansh only. I know Ansh had this plan, that's right. It just came to my mind, dear. I didn't have.
That was a nice joke.
So what you need to do, okay, Ansh. So if at all you have to go to Florida, I pray that you really go to Florida and finish your Disney World trip. But anyway,
I'm in Florida.
Florida, I hope you go to Disney World and have a good time. Okay. So sometimes you have to do this diagram though. Your plan is always smooth. We always have a smooth plan, but we end up in a bumpy plan. But still, the positive thing about plan 2, God's plan, is that God gives so many obstacles. But in each of those obstacles, you gather strength. Okay, you become stronger and stronger and stronger. Look at this boy. He was just cycling. He thought he'll just cycle and he'll go to the end. But then he had rocks. He had to go on a bumpy ride. And then suddenly there was water. So he learned how to go in a boat. He learned so many things. He learned how to walk on a ladder. He learned how to go without getting drenched in the rain. He learned so many things. With all these obstacles, this boy is getting stronger and stronger. And he's also reaching the destination. He's also going to Orlando. Maybe his ride is bumpy. But in that course, he's getting stronger and he's getting better. So if God is giving us challenges, if God is putting us in different situations, remember, it is to make us better devotees. Okay? Keep that in mind and continue to work towards the destination. Don't expect all the roads to be smooth. It's not going to be smooth. Can you all finish this activity today and post it on Govinda group?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji,
Yes.
so what is mostly the activity?
This is the, you have to draw this. If you're a boy, you can draw a boy on a bicycle. If you're a girl, you can draw a girl on a bicycle. And then you can.
Do we have to draw a bicycle?
Okay, you can just draw the person walking. Even while walking, you'll get into a bumpy road. Okay.
Mataji, can we use some other examples?
Sure. It is about the path. Okay. Some paths are straight, some are with many obstructions that is created by God. I mean, God is not, he's not trying to test you. He's a very nice God. But our life is like that. Okay. But we should have faith in Krishna and we should proceed further.
Mataji, like you colored the water blue and the cloud gray. Do we have to like color those things?
No, you don't have to. Okay. You can think of many other obstacles. Here you just have water and clouds. You have rocks, but you can think of other things too. Okay. But we all are going to the destination. And every second we are getting stronger and stronger. We are building strength. Okay. Okay. And I will send this chart too, because I want you to, just write down what you feel every time and then analyze. A small thing can make such a big problem. Okay. So I'm going to send you this chart. You can keep it in your whatever, in your drawer, in your cupboard, whatever you call it.
Mataji, can you go to the other slide so I can see what I need to draw?
Yeah. So Devi, I think she's been in and out today.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, did you hear everything? Did you see the activity?
Yes, Mataji.
Very good, very good.
I'm bringing my notebook.
What is that?
I'm bringing my book.
Should we do what? Put it in the book?
Nothing, Mataji. I'm bringing my drawing book.
Okay, bring.
Me too,
Want to
Mataji.
do it now or you want to do it because it's 8:15? So should I end the call? You can do it and then you can send it on the Govinda group. Just send a picture. Ask your mom to take a picture of what you have drawn and put it on the Govinda. Okay?
I just got done.
Okay. So I'll see you all next time. So you can log off, do it at your convenience and post it on the Govinda.
Thank you, Mataji. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the beautiful class. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Bol.
Call here.